What is up, my comic comrades? Getting right into it, part of my job and Variant's purpose is to introduce you guys to brand new comics that you might want to be reading every month. And today we have one of those titles, Strange Academy, which is only one issue in at the time of shooting this episode. This series was getting a lot of buzz before the first issue even dropped, because the concept is basically the X-Men. Take a bunch of outcast kids with powers, put them in a school and have them taught by already established heroes. Except in this case, swap the mutants out for characters that deal with the mystic arts. So it's quite literally Doctor Strange's version of Xavier's School for gifted youngsters. Also, the creative team for this book is absolutely nuts. You have writer-artist Scotty Young and famed Spider-Man artist Roberto Ramos. All those things combined is what had so many people intrigued about this series. But now let's see if issue 1 lived up to all the hype. Keep in mind, there's going to be spoilers galore for the entirety of this issue. With that warning out of the way, let's go. The issue starts off with a couple realizing their child has magical powers, all Matilda style. Her name is Emily Bright, and as she grows up, she continues to discover more of her abilities. When she's older, she even writes a letter to Doctor Strange basically saying she doesn't know what's wrong with her. Is she a sorceress, witch, mage, what is she? She also says her parents are afraid that if people knew what she could do, they would take her away, so no one else is allowed to know about her abilities. One day when she was walking her dog Emma, the dog was hit by a car. Going up to her dying dog and holding her, she inadvertently used some sort of magic that healed her dog. Needless to say, Emily was shocked but also stoked about this newfound power. So she started to see what else she could do with it. And one day while she was laying in the park with her dog, she started trying to create life, saying to herself over and over, "Focus your mind and become one with all things." Eventually she was able to create flowers, but she also brought a tree to life, and said tree almost killed her and her dog. The tree was even saying, "Foolish child, you will pay for what you have taken." But out of nowhere, she's saved by a woman named Zelma Stanton, aka Doctor Strange's librarian. Long story short, after saving Emily, she convinces Emily's parents to let her attend a special magic school that she's teaching at, saying, "Today was no fluke. That thing was drawn to Emily. It'll happen again and again and again until there's nothing left to come after. Or she could attend our school and we'll help her realize all that she's capable of." So a few weeks later, Zelma picks up Emily at her house and takes her to the school. And of course, she takes her there through magical doorways. And being a magical school, of course, it's hidden in plain sight. But once Emily touches the shield at the center of the front gate, it reveals the entire campus, aka Strange Academy, or as I personally like to call it, Strange's School for Mystic Youngsters, which I think is a perfect play off of Xavier's School for gifted youngsters. That was a missed opportunity, Marvel, a missed opportunity in naming. Once inside the gate, Miss Bright starts meeting her fellow classmates like Shaylee Moonpetal, who seems to be the bubbly happy character of the soon-to-be group of heroes. She's half fairy and half human. We later find out she grew up without her father, as the fairy kingdom wasn't too fond of her mother being in a relationship with a human. Right after this, we're introduced to two Asgardian brothers, Eirik and Alvi. So we know there's going to be Asgardians in the book, which is pretty dope. Maybe Thor might even pop up down the line, because besides these brothers, there's also a giant female frost giant student. The God of Mischief even pops up and starts hitting on Zelma, Doctor Strange's librarian, as they have a past together. In any case, the issue continues to set up the roster of characters, introducing us to a dope one, the Son of Dharma Mu. That's right, Dharma Mu has a son and his name is Doyle. Doyle Dharma Mu. For some reason, it's hysterical to me that his name is Doyle. Once Doyle Dharma Mu is introduced, however, the Asgardian brothers Eirik and Alvi aren't too happy that Dharma Mu's son is attending the school, so they started attacking him. But the fight is quickly broken up by Brother Voodoo, who seems to be the headmaster of sorts, even though it's still indeed Doctor Strange's school. After reprimanding the brothers, we are introduced to the final three major characters of this issue, and they would be Zoe Laveau, Calvin Morse, and Desi. We find out that Desi is short for despair, as she's a demon from Limbo. Calvin Rose is an orphan who possesses a magical jacket, and Zoe, well, as of now, we don't know who she is. She's kind of a mystery. But Desi knows who she is, being a demon, and she promises Zoe she won't tell anyone. Basically telling us readers that Zoe Laveau is going to be a crucial and important part of the story going forward. From here, we see the kids being shown the school and bunking up with their roommates, as well as being introduced to the teachers, who are Zelma, keeper of the arcane and magical items, the Ancient One, under whom most modern sorcerers have studied, and the Mindful One. He will be the dormitory resident and personal chief. And then you have special guest teachers who will be popping in and out throughout the year, such as Hellstrom, Nico Minoru, Scarlet Witch, Magic, and the Shaman. But Doyle Dharma Mu speaks up and says, "What about Doctor Strange? You're telling me you're starting a magic school and the Sorcerer Supreme isn't going to be teaching us anything?" Then moments later, Doctor Strange comes through a portal fighting a gigantic monster. Doctor Strange then yells out, "Who wants to have a little fun on their first day of school?" And of course, all the kids raise their hand, and he says, "Good, let's go then." And the kids start attacking the monster and help Strange defeat it. After said monster is defeated, Dr. Strange says, "Okay, where were we? Yes, right. I'm always here to encourage and inspire. Those are practically my middle names. So here goes nothing. I know some of you are freaking out at how awesome and scary this all is, and some of you are probably thinking you don't need to be here because you're such badasses already. Either way, soak it all in, have fun, and most of all, try not to die." And the comic ends with a terrified look on all the students' faces. And that, my friends, is Strange Academy issue 1. Overall, I think it's an alright issue. I am digging the Harry Potter X-Men vibes I'm getting, which is really cool. I think overall the series can find its place within that tone, but I'm not completely sold yet. For me, the dialogue and interaction came off a little too CW, if that makes any sense. I definitely think there's room for that in this sort of book, but I personally think it needs to be driven by a darker tone, as this is dealing with the mystic arts and the occult. So it naturally lends itself to that. But again, this is only the first issue in the series, so I don't think it's completely fair to judge the entire tone of the series on one issue. For instance, like the Harry Potter franchise, the first 2 films, Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets, were very lighthearted and whimsical. Then once we got the 3rd film, Prisoner of Azkaban, it really set the tone for the rest of the franchise going forward in a darker yet still fun direction. So that could very well happen with Strange Academy. Again, this is only the first issue, and I usually give comics around 2 to 3 issues before I give my final verdict. But again, that's just my 2 cents. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Did you guys love this issue? Did you hate it? Are you going to be adding it to your pull list? Let us know. But on that note, that brings today's episode to a close. And as always, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on our videos. It helps us out. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time when I talk about all things comics.